county in April of 2021, I believe. Whether it, how it didn't come here or didn't get to the process, doesn't matter. To have it come up here now is wonderful. Thank you.
April 2021, you said?
April 21 was
It's on
when
the
it was
last page.
adopted, yes, by fiscal court.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea.
All right, Ronnie, you wanna start with you and see how you feel about it, cause it's not, we don't have an ordinance on anything
I'm
yet.
one sponsoring this. I think it's a great idea that we keep that area looking nice and clean. We've not done so well in the city of Shepherdsville over the years. So we need to start making that a priority. And I think since we've extended our city boundaries out farther than we should at least take care of what we put out there. And I think that it, in the long run, will benefit tax base for citizens, because people are gonna come here and they're gonna spend money. It's not costing us anything to do this. And so I think that it's a win-win all the way around for everybody. So I'd like for us to look at adopting this.
Can we, can we read over it and then
Oh,
bring it back to the next meeting?
yeah, well,
Cause I just got it.
let's see, let's see how many people have interest in that, if they wanna answer. Now, Mike, how do
Raise
you,
their hand.
do you wanna comment?
How far, it appears on the map here that 245 runs pretty much right down the middle of this.
Right.
So how far either side of 245 does this corridor extend?
As to exact footage, I couldn't tell you.
How close?
But I do know that along 245, there by the fairgrounds, there is a section that is B1, B2 zoned, and it's gonna incorporate that. So whatever typically is that kind of, relationship. It's mainly just the corridor area, down the footage of the highway.
Let me, now, if somebody had their hand up, Mike, I think it would be
Go ahead.
safe, Casey has something to tell. Sir, go ahead and stand up. What do you, how do you feel about it? What's your, concept? What do you?
This property concerns us entirely. If you look at the map, where everything that Phil said that wasn't exactly true, it all started with a couple of planning and zoning trying to lift rules and regulations on our property, which Ms. Baker can testify to that.
Mr. Mayor, if you would, hang on a second.
Yeah.
Is he being recorded back there, do you all, or do we?
Yeah,
know?
he needs to come out.
Would he come up?
Come up here and
Yeah.
state your
Yeah,
name.
come up here and give your name,
That way we can
yeah.
get you on the record.
Like I said, let's all try to be nice as we can, just try to be factual, just
We
trying
wanna
to
make sure
gather
we get
information.
recorded.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
stand over there.
Alright.
Oh, Mr. Myers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's
Address
Lawrence
and that.
Myers. Yeah, and you're in the city, correct?
I'm in the city, yes,
Yeah,
I am.
okay.
The fact of it is, the majority of the people here, Phelps and the rest of them, they don't even own any property on 245.
Yeah,
Okay? They're not in the city. This started in 16, when some planning and zoning guys decided that they would start making rules and regulations just for our property, because our property is the only one zoned commercial out there. All the rest of the property of 245 belongs to Birmingham Forest or Beams Distillery, and it's all zoned agricultural or residential. Our property has been zoned commercial since 1968. It was the first property in the zoning. And so, with that said, if the people up there had done their due diligence, they would have seen that this property was zoned commercial. And if they wanted to live there, that's fine. If they didn't want to live there, that's fine too. The only thing this Bourbon Trail or so-called affects is our property. And so when they talk about it, they're basically referring to us. Now, if you look at your overlay thing there, the map shows that it probably extends probably 400 or 500 feet from the center line, because right here, it goes up here on Clinbar, it goes back to Ricky Lane, which is a quarter of a mile off of 245. So that not only catches the front part of my property, but it catches the farm that we own behind it as well. So, you know, you can't, you know, if you wanna have restricted to 100 foot off the center line or something like that. Because if people's gonna go down the highway looking at far blue yonder, I mean, they're kinda not that safe, I mean, because action showed that. But when they say that, you know, they're trying to be a tourism, that's not quite true. They just don't wanna see it developed, and it, like I say, it was zoned industrial long before they ever come out here. Right there, we get off, right there by the fairgrounds, on both sides of the road. Right there where Valero is.
Yeah.
On both sides of the road.
I was trying to figure that out.
Yeah, my dad bought that property there in 1927. So,
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Myers.
yeah, I appreciate what you do for me.
Thank you.
Keep them all. Thank you.
All right, Bonnie, does that change any of your mind there or anything?
I don't really know, I think that we do need to see how far they go, I'm trying to look on the map now.
Mayor, I have a question, maybe
Yeah.
Mr. Phelps might be able to help me answer. I thought when this, and maybe I'm missing it in here, I thought that it was
Speaker's
a
off.
set, oh, I'm sorry, my microphone wasn't on. I thought that there was a set footage from the road, but I'm not seeing that in here. I had in my mind it was like 500 feet, did that not make it in the final?
And again, I would have thought so as well, but I
Okay.
told.
I just wanna make sure I wasn't missing it.
Zoning,
Okay,
so
and so
I
did
have
we,
no idea.
that's where we got it to,
Yeah,
it doesn't
we'll have
say.
to research farther, so, yeah.
Cause
Further.
initially, I think they were talking like between 300 to 500 feet
Yeah,
back
it
from
doesn't make sense
245,
for
but
it
it
to go
doesn't
any
say.
further back than that, it
Yeah.
doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Well, no,
Yeah.
no, it definitely doesn't, but I thought it
But we
said
do
it
need
here,
to
but I
clarify that.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, Mike, you got any more? Go ahead.
Here, we want something like that in there, we could adopt our own,
Yeah, Kenny, go
we
ahead.
could adopt our own overlay, what we decide we want in here,
That's true.
if we wanna do that.
Correct.
We could
If
set
the
that.
500 feet's not in this, we can put it
We can
in
put
what
that
we
in there.
want it to be.
Yeah.
Instead of adopting this one, yeah.
Can you,
There's a clause in there that says that they have the right, if something doesn't pertain to tourism, they have the right to reject a building permit. It's in the bylaws on.
Okay, we'll look at all of it.
Okay. All right, Mike, you got any further on the overlay?
Like I said, my concern or opinion on this is that right now it affects a finite area. Started out in the county, we have a couple of parcels out there that are in the city. And I would just have a concern that if we do this, does it only apply to this area? Or does it now become a part of the entire city of Shepherdsville? If you wanted to do something, a warehouse or anything else, right out here along 61 where they are currently doing, would this apply to anything new that didn't apply to something old? And possibly restrictions of how far off of highways and such it could be. It could probably, possibly greatly diminish the available land for somebody to develop on. So, I mean, those are all considerations. Everything is going to be affected by what we do.
Okay. Stacy, do you have any
I
comments?
I wanna go look at the
wanna
property
look
and
at it.
read all this on here and
Okay.
study it before I vote on it, cause I just
Debbie,
got
any
it
comment?
tonight.
I've gotten calls that they don't want it. I've not gotten any calls from anybody that they did want it.
Kenny,
So I
how
just
do you-
got calls.
how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I wanna look
I mean,
into
you
it a
don't
little
have to answer
further,
no.
and like I said, if we look into it, we can change
I haven't
things
gotten any calls.
I
I haven't even,
and do it
I have.
to fit our city.
Except
But,
for
but
Mr.
like
Phillips.
Mike said, the way this is laid out, it looks like it's only affecting a small portion, and to me, if you're gonna do it, then you should do it for
Right,
for it
you
all.
can't, you can't just do it.
It shouldn't be a nitpick out, well, because of this area or that area.
Right.
If we're gonna regulate stuff, then to me, you regulate it across the board.
Right.
The one thing I would add to that, Mayor, if I could really quick,
Yes.
I think, so the boundary did come off of the planning and zoning website also. And it's got the Bullitt County seal on here, so I have to assume that's come off the Bullitt County website also. But the language doesn't specifically refer, at least that I can tell, back to the map, so I do think if the council wanted to proceed, we would need to specify in whatever we adopted to the
Exactly.
exact boundaries.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can just take this and adopt everything in here. I think you're gonna have
Just
to
wanna be
tweak
clear
it
about the
to
boundaries.
fit this city if we're gonna do this.
Okay, I think Mr. Phelps had a question.
Just for clarification, Alicia Harper would be the individual that could give you any information
Oh,
on
yes,
this.
yeah, that's true.
I think the intent is that this is the boundary, I'm just not seeing in the
Yeah.
language
Right.
where that's specifically
I mean,
adopted.
that's what I
as
get
where
from the
it's-
map, that it's just in this area.
And there's no measurements on there. I think it would just need to be a little bit more specific.
Yeah.
Okay, Lisa, you have any comment, or you don't have to, or if you don't want to, or you have a comment
How many
on
other
this?
cities, I know the county had adopted it, is Mount Washington the only city that has adopted this overlay? Or does
Now,
anyone-
Washington adopted?
No, they didn't.
Why would they
didn't.
adopt
No,
it?
It only
Did-
would have pertained to the county at the time it was
But,
adopted.
but
and
I
now it
mean,
pertains
did
to
Mount
Shepherd.
Washington, are they the only ones that has,
They have not.
Yeah.
they have
They
not?
wouldn't have had any reason to.
No.
Okay.
Debbie, you got a question?
I do have a question.
Yeah, Mount Washington.
The river trail, does that run from 245, the Bullock County line, all the way to the Nelson County line? Is that correct? No.
And can anybody answer that? Does it go that far, or just go to the Four Roses? I'm not
And
sure.
again, this map isn't exact. I think, that's why, again, I think we would need to be a little bit more specific.
Yeah, we need to, yeah, because it'd be so preliminary to vote on this if we don't even have these questions answered. so.
And it-
Get a hold of
may-
Felicia.
If you've seen,
If that runs all the way to the Nelson County line, someone right there at the end of the line could ask to be annexed into the city. Am I correct?
Right.
well, so we would still have
We
to
can't go past our
touch,
city limits.
right. It would still
go
have
past
to
the county,
follow
yeah.
the rules for
If,
annexation.
if it does
Isn't
need,
245 past the city limits?
Some of it's in city limits.
well, it would be corridor annexation, would
Yeah,
it
it's
not?
corridor.
Right. So yes.
Yeah, I guess you could go down, yeah, you could go down the road, I guess.
Not me,
I didn't do
not
that.
me. But I believe in that.
Yeah, no, but you're, yeah, I agree, yeah.
Okay, Joe, go ahead. Joe Burton.
I wanted to speak on this. Joe Kaufman,
Joe Kaufman, sorry.
I kind of have a problem if some of this stuff wouldn't affect the Paracat Springs Center. They're talking about all this food and restaurants, not restaurants, but shops. This sounds like a good idea, but personally, I would like for you all to look it over real good. Start over. Mr. Newton had a good idea about adopting your own. There are things in here that are missing, and from the experience I had with planning and zoning, sometimes they leave out things and they shouldn't, but if you adopted this with those things, the questions that you all had, then you're stuck with it. So I think the city really needs to look at this. Some of these things in here I think is a good idea, but I don't understand, one, why tourism, for one, isn't at the conference center, because when Elaine was in there, we talked about the canoes down the river, all that. So I don't know why you all are doing this, but I just think the council needs to come up with their own overlay, make it simple. If you're going to adopt the overlay, like I said, some of these ideas are good, movie theaters and things like that, because Shepherdsville needs this. But we don't need, if this is going to affect where we have more warehouses put in, I don't even know Mr. Lawrence, but the way he talked, it backed in the front and the back. He don't need to be surrounded by something like that.
That's part of the reason for this is no warehouses going down through there.
Well, but this shouldn't be in there confining a resident. I mean,
It's
would you want,
exclusions for them. If you're already there, you're excluded.
well,
It
from,
says that in there.
well, but then it also says they want to take part of his land in the front and the back, the 500 that's not even in here. So what I would ask of
They're
the
not wanting
council,
to take his property.
I might be able to help a little bit.
Okay.
Joe, just very briefly. So I thought, and I'm not seeing it in here, I don't want to say it's something here, I want to go back and read this more thoroughly.
Uh-huh.
At a certain time, way back when, they had talked about it should be 500 feet either way
Right.
from 245. It's not a taking of the property, it's a, if you're within that footage, you
Okay.
have to design your stuff a certain way.
Okay,
And so it
my
does
bad.
restrict, the use is just in that the way this is worded there, like you can't have noxious fumes, there are certain things you can and
Right,
can't do.
right.
It doesn't change the zoning, but it does curtail the uses to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about like the style of the buildings you're gonna build and your
Mm-hmm.
setbacks and berms and things like that. So
And
it's not,
everybody that's already there, their grandfather, they don't have to change anything.
unless they haven't developed yet though, and then it's
Right.
like the development standards, it's a development standard essentially.
but still they're talking about, for example, Mr. Lawrence's property, doing something in the front of it and doing something in the back, so that kind of contains, you know, I wouldn't want it done on my property, but other people might, I don't know. But I would ask the council to really, really look at this, come up with some ideas of your own, and come up with, if you're going to adopt an overlay, come up with your own that is in plain English, because I know planning and zoning, they do everything backwards, from my experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. All right, Lisa, did you finish? Got anything else?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. All right, next, we'll go to old business.
May I ask though,
Yeah.
so, there's talk about drafting an ordinance at this time. I'm not being directed to draft an ordinance, I just wanna make sure that.
No, you're not
No.
directing right now.
No, there's not, there's
Okay.
not enough
We're gonna go over it.
there's not enough interest right
We'll
now
fine tune
to,
it if we need
yeah.
to.
Okay.
all righty, old business, second reading of ordinance 022-052.
Summary of ordinance number 022-052. An ordinance amending ordinance number 011-078 relating to the imposition and administration of an occupational license requirement and payment of an occupational license tax by persons and business entities conducting businesses, occupations, and professions within the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky. In summary, Section 1 sets forth definitions. Section 2 sets forth license application required. Section 3 sets forth occupational license tax payment required and is amended from 1.5% to 2%. Section 4 sets forth apportionment. Section 5 sets forth employers to withdraw. Section 6 sets forth returns required. Section 7 sets forth extensions. Section 8 sets forth refunds. Section 9 sets forth federal audit provisions. Section 10 sets forth administrative provisions. Section 11 sets forth information to remain confidential. Section 12 sets forth penalties. Section 13 sets forth use of occupational license tax. Section 14 sets forth severability. And Mayor, again, the only thing that would be changed in the current occupational license ordinance is we're going from 1.5% to 2%. That's the only change.
Okay. All right, thank you. Entertain a motion?
Discussion?
We usually do it after the second motion.
Pardon?
I'll make the motion.
Okay,
I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay, so, make reference, Lisa first, Juan second. Okay, any discussion? Mike? go
I
ahead.
just had, we've been involved in, quote, budget meetings.
Yeah.
So far, all we've seen, or all the council's been presented with, is information on the council's budget and our MAP money, I understand. So we haven't seen any projection, any suggested budget for admin, police, fire, public works, okay? And I can't help but get the feeling that everybody's waiting to see if we got another, I understood that the estimate would be like $2.8 million. So are we just, is the administration just waiting to see if I got some more money to plug into my want list? Or do you actually need it? Or can we anticipate, if we pass this, that the revenues can be used in areas other than day-to-day operation, or just increasing day-to-day operation? Because once we've committed to that, it's there, you know? So there's only very few ways of reducing that day-to-day operation.
I
So,
can address that.
okay,
We need fire trucks. They cost bukus of money, over $1 million apiece. The sewer needs new clarifiers. You're talking about several $1 million to get our clarifiers up to date. We need 2 more clarifiers. We're hit with the same thing. The cost has gone up to blacktop your roads, has jumped tremendously. And we wanna get all the roads in the Shepherdsville. We wanna get them done. We're gonna have to get a loan. And we're gonna pave all the city roads.
Yes, yes.
We're gonna get the fire equipment that
Every
we
street.
need to protect the citizens. There is a lot of stuff that we need. And the only way we can do it is by this. It's 0.5%. It's not gonna affect citizens who don't work or retire. It's not gonna affect them. It will affect the people that work in the city of Shepherdsville. A large part of the amount of people that work in Shepherdsville are from other areas because they're coming down to these warehouses and working. The paper mistakenly put in there 24% raise. I seen that today online, and I do want you to know that's not true. I don't know where that came from.
Well, it is if we're going from 1.5 to 2, yeah.
33%,
$33.
yeah.
What, 33% of what, if it's 0.5% on a dollar?
That's what you're going up by.
The
So really,
increase is
that's right, yeah.
1/3 of the existing rate.
Okay, so
Not
it's
saying
a
that your
math thing.
rate's gonna be 25%,
It's-
but you're increasing by 25% because you were at
It's-
1.5.
I don't know what the math is on that and how much that is, but it's not, it's not a lot. But combined with all the people that work in Shepherdsville, it amounts to a lot. And we have to pay the bills. I mean, your all stuff has all gone up, gas has gone up. Our fire trucks are all diesel. Diesel's $5.19 a gallon. We've gotta pay for this somehow. All the police vehicles, our fuel has just gone crazy in prices, and we're just battling, trying to get all this stuff paid. And that's why we need this money to do that. And it was the least tax that we could do to affect, the least amount of effect on the citizens here that we could do, and not affect the elderly, the retired, people on fixed incomes, disability. It wouldn't affect them.
Got somebody back here, go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
I do the payroll for my company, so
Hey, come up here if you would for a second, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for participating. Yeah, just stand right there, because sometimes I can't hear.
good
Go
evening.
ahead.
My name is Tim Garrett from Auto Paint and Performance.
Yeah.
I do the payroll for my employees, my company, so I'm fairly familiar with the occupational tax, and I'm not happy about it. A 1.5% to 2% is a fairly considerable jump. But Ms. Unlow is correct. There is no getting around it. Nothing's gonna get any cheaper. So you're gonna have to do it. It's gonna be a little bit of a hardship for smaller companies, but as long as the services rendered for the money are a good value, then nobody's really losing out on this. I actually wasn't here to speak on this issue at all tonight, but just a minor consideration, K1 is your Kentucky tax on payroll for the state. And the city of Shepherdsville tax will surpass the K1 rate with this addition. Again, just be judicious with the money, spend it wisely and carefully. And then there's just no getting around the increase, because you're right, none of your expenses are gonna go down for the foreseeable future.
No.
And this is probably the best way to do it. 0.5%'s a pretty big bite, but hey, compared to what diesel's gone up, if there's only 0.5%, we should count ourselves lucky.
Yeah, thank you for that help.
you.
Thank you for helping us, yeah. Pro or con.
I'd just like to respond again that, obviously, none of this revenue, I believe, could be used for a clarifier. We do need, but that has to come out of the sewer budget, revenue from there. Roads were mentioned, that's fine. I don't mind doing this if I can feel that the biggest bulk of this money, new revenue, combined with what we're not using already for roads or whatever, I I think at one meeting, Tom, didn't you say something about $3 million would redo all the roads in the city, and then we wouldn't have to worry about it for a good number of years? And I'm not promoting taking all of this and doing all the roads, you know, and nothing else. But I'm simply saying that part of this, along with part of what we already have, and I don't know what the anticipated revenue for the city this next year is without this. Haven't seen it. But combined with what we will have already and pass this and increase it by almost $3 million, then I would expect to see those results fairly quickly and start on that and make some noticeable improvements in roads and things like that. I know we have to pay more. I know everything costs more. That'll have to be considered into the budget, okay? But I just want to see these increases in tax revenue be able to be seen results. People can drive down the road and see what their money's paying for.
I agree.
That's it.
I agree with you, Mike.
Yep.
That's,
Well, thank you.
that's kind of what's had me hesitant about, you know, voting for this, you know, because, you know, we've got, you know, a splash pad that's been budgeted for 2 years that's been held up. I mean, and I ain't saying it's anybody's fault, but when citizens hear you're raising their taxes and they don't see where this money's going,
That's right.
they just see you taking money. They don't see nothing getting done. They don't see the park getting any, you know, we had that $15 million park plan that nothing's gotten done. So, you know, that's what keeps me hesitant from voting for a tax increase when the citizens just aren't, they're not seeing where their tax money is going now. So,
Sooner or later, we'd have to increase, if we didn't do any of the new projects,
Yeah.
just the natural increase in wages and pension and cost of fuel. Obviously, fuel is a major issue, and I can understand that. Every department is going over their fuel allotment.
Well, they're going
You know,
to.
they're going to if they already haven't, and that's just the way it is. We can't control that, only to very limited, you know, usage, but I would like to see this money not just thrown in the general fund and put here and there and not be utilized where people can see it. That's my concern, so.
Okay, any other discussion?
We can just discuss it at budget time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I call for a vote. All in favor, signify by hand raise. 2 there, 4, okay, all those against, 2 passes 4-2. Okay, next, second reading ordinance 022-053.
Ordinance number 022-053, an ordinance pursuant to KRS 81A.412, annexing into the city of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, 5.9 acres of unincorporated territory of property located at 250 Phelps Road and owned of record by Kenneth J. and Stacy M. Jones by consent of all property owners of record of the property. Whereas Kentucky Revised Statute 81A.412 provides that a city may annex any area meeting the requirements of Kentucky Revised Statute 81A.410 if each of the owners of record of the land to be annexed gives prior consent in writing to the annexation. Be it ordained by the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, Section 1. The City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky finds that the areas to be annexed described in and depicted on the attached Exhibit A and incorporated herein by reference as if set out in full were adjacent or contiguous to the city's boundaries at the time the annexation proceeding was begun. Section 2. The City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky finds that by reason of population density, commercial, industrial, institutional, or governmental use of land or subdivision of land, the areas to be annexed described in and depicted on the attached Exhibit A are urban in character or suitable for development for urban purposes without unreasonable delay. Section 3. The City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky finds that each of the owners of record of the land to be annexed, described herein below, has given consent in writing to the annexation. Section 4. The City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky does hereby annex the territory described in and depicted on the attached Exhibit A. Section 5. This ordinance shall take effect upon publication. Section 6. Should any section, clause, line, paragraph, or part of this ordinance be held unconstitutional or invalid for any reason, the same shall not affect the remainder of this ordinance. Section 7. Parts of any ordinances in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed. Given first reading at a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, on the 9th day of May 2022. given second reading at a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, on the 23rd day of May, 2022.
Thank you, Ms. Tammy.
Can I ask, Tom, can I ask about this 250 Phelps Road? Do you know why they wanna be?
I do not know. I have not done any inspections on any property or roads or anything over there, and actually, I was just asking Rocky if there's any sewers over there.
Oh, okay.
That would impact this, and, I think he feels about the same way I do, we really don't know.
Did
How
anybody,
does it connect to the city?
I'm sorry,
How does it connect to the city?
I don't know the answer to that.
well, there should be.
I think it's from,
Yeah,
it
there was a
connects to
corridor,
Nancy
you're right.
Drive, it's where the city, in behind it. Yeah.
The city boundaries, yeah.
Yeah.
There's the, chili coop, the church.
Is this the church property?
Beside the church,
It's beside it.
beside Emmanuel Baptist Church, you turn down that street, and if you kept going, it'll connect into Nancy. which is-
So we would be skipping to go to that property. Right?
It pulls in the back of the property to add houses to the end of that Nancy Drive.
Well, and Mayor, I will say Eric Ferris had texted earlier and said that he represents this property owner, and he has a school board meeting tonight until late. And, if the council would prefer to table it until he could be here to
I'd
answer
like to
these
table it.
questions, or?
Yes.
To the next meeting?
Oh, he's on his way?
He's on the way?
Then
Okay, let's set it aside.
Do we just wanna come back around to it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you have a map of where it's at?
I think we all have the
Oh,
same
okay.
thing.
So you don't know,
This is the only place where it really shows.
Yeah, right there, yeah, part of it.
Oh, okay, that's back where they.
Backs up to Mallard Lake.
Yeah, it connects to Sanctuary at Mallard Lake.
Sanctuary Nancy Mallard Lake.
Sanctuary at Mallard
Yeah.
Lake.
Yeah.
yeah,
That was back where they were,
I think we need
And,
to go out and look at it.
wasn't that where they were building some apartments back there, Stacy? Over here.
Eric can probably answer that when he gets here.
Okay, we'll wait,
Do sign-in speakers?
yeah,
Do sign-in speakers while we
yeah,
wait?
we'll wait for Eric. So we'll move on and wait for Eric to show up. I know of no planning and zoning update, no board of adjustments update.
Show them out. I don't.
Sign-in speakers.
Somebody wanted to.
Well, we're not tabling yet, we're waiting to see if Eric's gonna get here.
We're just gonna lay it aside until,
Road in the city, what is it, Coop?
oh, we could,
Take
yeah.
a motion to table it till the end of the meeting.
No, it's
So-
not.
Make a motion to table this till the end of the meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay, that's Kenny. Bonnie, second. All in favor, table it till later today. Okay, 6-0. All right, Larry Clark, come on up. Just give your name and your address over there.
Larry Clark, I'm from 240 Stevens Drive. About 2 meetings ago, we had a talk about removing a tree that blew down on the city right away. Last Tuesday, they removed the wood part, the limbs and all, but they left the trunk and the root wad, and it's be a hole there. Would you please move stump crop, root wad, fill it in with dirt, and while you got some dirt there, put some in the ruts next to the road. Cut the grass and pick up the trash.
I'll come over there or have somebody come over and look at it for you.
It is a mess.
240, in the back of 240 Drive, Stephen Drive, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think everyone has seen pictures of the root wad.
I was trying to pull mine up right now. I know you sent
At
some
one
on
time,
Facebook.
I kept it all mowed down, the trash picked up,
Oh,
but I don't want to put my lawnmower in there.
so you can't cut it right now with that condition it's in?
It would
It would hurt the lawnmower.
It could mess my lawnmower up.
Okay.
There's
All right.
2 ruts on each side of where you picked up the tree. It's about 6 or 8 inches deep.
Uh-huh.
and the mud work stuff. Fill all that in, level it down, sow it down in grass, and I will keep it cut for you.
Okay, all right, we'll come over and look at it,
Is that a deal?
Is it,
most likely.
I mean, can we do that on?
Well,
Oh, Mayor,
it's an easement,
It was our tree.
City's property?
So,
Okay.
it was our tree, and if it caused that, we used to try to put it back the
Yeah.
way it was, yeah.
I mentioned I would buy the beverages for them. You owe me $18 because we had 20 beers that wasn't drunk.
You should have brought them with you.
Should've brought them tonight. All right. Thank you, Larry. Okay, next, Melissa. And, yeah, just give your name and your address, please. Welcome.
My name's Melissa Standridge, and I don't have an address. I'm homeless.
Okay.
And 11/27/2021, I went to rehab, but 6 weeks before that, I was homeless on the streets, and I was doing drugs, doing everything until I got in this program called Room of In, and right now it's Mark 12 Ministries. It's taking over for it and stuff. I went to rehab and for 30 days, and now I come back from rehab, and I'm getting ready to graduate in this program because I'm 5 months sober and clean, and I'm actually from Shepherdsville. And I lived in Shepherdsville all my life, and so I'm kind of nervous about this, but it's just that if it wasn't for God giving me another chance, I'd probably be dead right now. And so I went to rehab and then come back and then stay in this program. I had a choice to make, and I made the right choice. I could either get kicked out of this program and be on the streets and still continue doing the drugs, or going to rehab. So I choose to go to rehab. And now I'm got a job at Cedar Grove Industrial Park for 5 months. I go to places, and I call this my home until I actually have my home. And I'm getting a trailer, and I'm getting a car, and I would want to help all the homeless people that wants the help that they need. But I needed to be helped because I wanted the help. And it's a shame the way the homeless people that gets done out here. And because once I was homeless, and I'm still homeless until I get my place. And I just wish there was one way that y'all would take in consideration to, like, for the homeless people that have, like, so being out in the cold and stuff like that, a building that for Mark 12's ministries that they could purchase for the homeless people. And it's just, I'm proud of myself because I stood up and took upon myself and would go to get help. And some of these people out here, if you would sit and talk to them, they would want the same thing. And if it wasn't for the group that I'm in Perry right here, I wouldn't be doing good for myself. They encouraged me. I got money saved up in a financial, my savings. I'm fixing to go out here in this big world, and that I know that I can do it and do real good for myself, because I got courage, and I got God.
Amen. Well, thank you for your
Thank you.
sobriety. Congratulations
Thank you.
on your sobriety.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, next, Perry Cook. Come on up, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen of the council and of Shepherdsville, I want to thank you. Real briefly, for those who are of faith, I just want to read from Scripture, 1 Peter 4:11. The end of all things is near. Therefore, be alert and sober-minded for prayer. Above all, maintain constant love for one another, since love covers a multitude of sins. Be hospitable to one another without complaining, just as each one has received a gift to use it to serve others as good stewards of the varied grace of God. I've not been here for a few weeks. I've been listening. Melissa wanted to come and talk because she heard how the folks talk about the homeless. See, when I look at Melissa, I don't see a homeless person. I see a beautifully, wonderfully created image of God. So when we talk about these people or them or those whatever, we're talking about individuals. Their daughters, sons, husbands, fathers, mothers, children of folks. And most of them are from this county, whatever we want to say. Now, we closed the shelter the second week of March. My phone continues to ring off the hook. I will tell you that $4 a gallon, rent going up, it's doing exactly what I had said it would do, and that everyone on Wall Street is saying it's doing. It's creating a greater need. And so I offered the same thing I offered 2 months ago. I would love to sit down and talk to this council about real solutions, about the homeless in our community. That's what I have offered from day one. I've asked you to consider taking some of that ARPA money and investing it in our future. See, Melissa is our future. I proposed I proposed $500,000.
Hey, let's direct our statements toward the council.
Look at Melissa. Melissa is a tax-paying individual. She works here in town. She's paying her taxes, right? And she is contributing to this community. She's going to purchase a trailer, but she wasn't going to be able to do that when she was sleeping behind the 5-star. She needed just a little bit of encouragement to make that next step. And so that's all I'm asking is a conversation. I'm not asking for a commitment. We offered to buy a building for $500,000. We have, again, never asked for any monies from the city or the county. We're of the few missions and organizations that work in this county, we've not asked for anything. We are self-supported, again. And so I just want to, again, offer it up to you. If you guys do, and I said this the last time I was here, if you do not want Mark 12 to operate in Shepherdsville, I'm more than happy not to. And we have tried to step back a little bit after my last reception here in front of the council. But we want to help. We want to help folks that are in need.
You want to give your contact number out again to the council in case they wanted to reach out to you?
Absolutely.
What's the contact number for you?
So the ministry's
Email or contact?
My email is perry@mark12.org. My personal phone number is 502-387-7321. I would be more than happy to have any of you out to my house. We can have dinner. We can talk. I'm looking to help. I'm looking to bring solutions to a community that is in need. And that is really all that I would like to do with your partnership.
All right, thank you, sir.
That is all. Thanks.
Thank you, Perry. Okay, Willie Hines, next. Oh, has it, Willie? Okay, thank you. I know Willie, thank you. Okay, next, Luann. Luann. And just give your name and your address.
Luann Moore, I actually have two addresses.
Okay.
One 458 Cliffside Drive and the other 179 South Buckman Street. So I've just got three quick comments. On the beautification, I agreed to become a member of the Shepherdsville Beautification Committee that I understood was voted on by this council to form. I'm not for sure what happened with that committee. I'm not for sure where we're at with all of that. But I do know that there's additional money in the general fund that I think we might be able to use for beautification. And I would respectfully request the council replace the $16,000 that was taken from that beautification fund, so we can responsibly use that to not only help Buckman Street, but also the park system, the farmer's market, just to make everything look better. Number two, deals with beautification also. We have an ordinance here in Shepherdsville, and I don't know the number of the ordinance, but I know that we've used it in the past to take down the dilapidated houses that are really an eyesore to Shepherdsville. The two that are across from the post office need to be torn down. They are just looking worse all the time. And also, I'd like to address the old Stouts building. It's an eyesore, and every time we come around that direction, it just looks bad. And I know that probably the owner of that could probably fix it up some.
Yeah.
But can we use that ordinance, and I don't know again what the number of that ordinance is, but can we use that ordinance to help facilitate getting that building at least painted or looking better than it looks right now?
Garbage behind it. There's garbage behind it too.
It's horrible.
It's terrible. I agree.
It's really bad.
Totally.
And the garbage could catch on fire very easily.
Exactly.
The third is the 2% tax. Don't agree with it, don't like it in this economic climate. As an owner of a business, don't want it. I just don't think it's a good idea for our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you for your help. Thank you for your comments. Stephen Phelps?
Hi, Steve Phelps. Clarification mostly. In last Monday's paper, the 16th.
It needs to be retracted.
Yeah.
As I said, it just went,
Published by mistake.
and I thought, okay.
Yes.
So,
It was all wrong.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
all
you very
wrong.
much.
Thank
Thank-
you
You're
for-
welcome, sir.
Complete,
Thank you for-
honest, accidental mistake.
Thank you for
Yes.
asking.
Thank
sir.
you
Yes.
for
Mr. Herb?
bringing that up.
I'm good.
You good, Herb? Okay, Herb Hill. Thank you, sir. Miss Nina Bain. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Wait a minute,
Hold-
that's me.
I don't know. Well, I was gonna say something. I seen Herb. Aren't you running for something, Herb?
The first district magistrate,
Okay, when's that election?
November 8th.
November 8th? Okay.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Thank you for your service. You see, I said something about, who is the new jailer here?
He's back there.
Brian Whitaker? Hey, will you stand up, sir? And, cause I mentioned, new people, Brian Whitaker, the Bullitt County jailer, January 1st. If you would come up here for a second and say hi. And Herb, if you want to say something for a minute or two, you can. Come on up behind Brian.
I didn't expect to speak. I didn't shave or anything. My
That's
razor's
okay.
hiding from
I didn't
me.
mean to call you out.
And you came in late.
I seen you here.
Thanks. I want to congratulate Clint. He did a real good job, and Miss
Yep.
Tammy Baker also did a wonderful job campaigning. Just want to say thank you for voting me in. I will not disappoint you, and we will represent Bullitt County and the people how they need to be represented. Looking forward to working with Clint and Tammy on any projects that we have. Change is coming, folks. Change is coming. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations also to Tammy Baker, Clint, and Ryan Whitaker. There's not many candidates I walked for Mr. Whitaker in several of his neighborhoods. There's been several out there. It paid off. Change is coming. I'm running for the first district magistrate. Like we already You know, we already changed 3 spots already. We have 1 that's still there, so hopefully we get in there, we get this first district cleaned up, straightened up, and as you can see, the city council there, want to do the roads, want to do the right thing for the community. That's the direction we all need to go. And we gotta have everybody in here support and backing us, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Amen. Okay, Nyla, the floor is yours, yep. Miss Nyla, give your name and your address.
Well, that's rather personal, isn't it? Okay, my name is Nina Roby Bain, and I live on Tollview Drive. And in deference to the time that I was told we are to submit our comments to, I shall read it, because I get off on things. First of all, I speak from the heart, and I kind of lay it out the way I think. I had initially intended on speaking about the recently approved beautification committee on which I serve. But the longer I thought about the activity of the beautification committee and the more recent division of personnel involved in the spending of $20,000 line item budget, having been spoken for by someone other than the beautification committee, I had to reflect on what that actually meant for our city. I found myself reflecting back on their city when I was a 3rd grader living on the farm off Bells Mill Road with my grandma and granddaddy and my parents. And we would come into Shepherdsville downtown on Saturdays. And the old geezers with their bibbies sitting in the courthouse hall with the spittoons and everything still have fond memories. And not if they missed the spittoon, but I still have fond memories.
You're funny.
And I bring a word up that was just mentioned twice. Change is necessary over time, but it is the normal fear of the unknown that usually stifles change from taking place. But if we continue in our current fashion, I shall continue to see my personal community as stagnant. Before any change can be attempted, we must get our citizens and businesses behind such a project involving change. Beautification is defined as the action or process of improving the appearance of a person or a place. Other cities have gone through similar concerns. So I decided to look at a city approximately the same size as ours. I found that our city population in 2020 was 14,201. I found that in size in 2020, the closest to us was Bardstown. My, do I need to say any more? I think not. I was immediately blown away. What have they done to make Bardstown such a visitor-friendly, historical in appearance, and an inviting and clean city? We currently have ordinances regarding abandoned and neglected properties which are not being enforced. What message does that send to our visitors? I don't care who owns the properties. I just care that written ordinances are followed across the board without exceptions. When we don't follow the rules or regulations, why should we even care if others do? Constantly leaving shopping carts, blocking parking places, illegally using handicap placards, littering, persistently running red lights at intersections. I see these things every single time I am out. Don't we usually get some kind of plastic bag when we buy something that we could put our trash in until we're close to a waste disposal? Granted, we can't ask people to clean up if we don't have a place to put trash. So therefore, you may have to be creative and bring your own. Is adhering to the traffic lights properly going to keep all the roads safer? There's a possibility that might work too. Litter is atrocious, trashy, and as far as I'm concerned, reflects the city members of our community in the same fashion. There have been some days I feel I could gather enough items for an eclectic living room, bedroom, den, or maybe even start putting together my own car. We are a prime location to serve better as an inviting stop for tourists. We have our own great artists, outstanding craftsperson in a number of genres. Why isn't there a place to brag about these by displaying their fairs? Why don't we have a nice 1 or 2 restaurants downtown Shepherdsville? Now, if you need legal help, or you're dying, or already dead, you know, you're right, it's all there. It's all right there. I know how much I miss Kit and Ronnie Parker's restaurant. What do we have to actually do to draw anybody to downtown Shepherdsville? Yes, I was extremely upset about a person not being a member of the beautification committee, speaking for the money established for that community. Upon reflection of the action that took place, I determined it was based on personality differences and power. But was this the best way to progress and unite persons involved for a common cause? In this case, I think it could have been handled in a more professional and informative way. We have so much to do to catch up with the times and truly beautify our city as a proud and caring community in more ways than financial dispositions. We have so many talented, involved citizens in our community that could help assist in this process. And I am getting off of my stone high table.
Thank you, Ms. Green. Thank you. Joe Coffey.
No, I already spoke.
Okay, Lawrence Meyer.
I've already spoken.
You already spoken, okay. Okay, let's go ahead and get, thank you, let's go ahead and bring the, off the table, Eric's here. Make a motion.
Bring that off the table.
Second.
Okay. Kenny's first, Deb second, all in favor? Okay, it's about some questions about the annexation.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm sorry that I wasn't here. I was stuck at the school board. Thank you, Tammy, for letting me know. And I'm always reluctant to follow Miss Nairobi Thane.
I know, she's good.
Anything who has a pet name for me that she will.
I promise you, I will not.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Just know you watch very pie.
Yes, you do. Anyway, I'm sorry. What may I?
Okay,
try to
any
answer?
questions?
I just asked the question, Eric, about the property. What is the reasoning they want us to take it in for the city?
The Joneses have this under contract with the developer, David Greenberg, who wants to put single-family lots in under the same zoning designation. I believe that property is R3 zoning, so it would be single-family development. There's a loop extension of that Phelps Drive that is laid out as planned. We would be coming back to you with a rezoning of this after annexation, but it's just to extend the Highland Meadows into a Section 2. Mr. Greenberg has acquired that first section from the Lundys, and we're working with the city on the things that need to be done that are his responsibility and that are the Lundys' responsibility, because that road, as you may know, is not so hot, among other things. And there's a property back in the old Section 1 that is also violative of the restrictions and needs to be cleaned up desperately. So, and a trailer sitting back there, a truck trailer. So, all those things are in the process of being cleaned up through our office, and this is going to be a brand new expansion.
I have a question. How is it linking to other city property? How is it?
To my knowledge, there may be a new exit through Blue Lick, is my understanding of the design. They're still trying to lay that out. It's going to be, they've already sent a proposal to Arthur Jones to look at. Arthur's considering that. This is Mendel Scott Engineering is doing the design. So all of that, we'll have to come back to you guys. I'm going to have a far more detailed design for you for zoning. But I can't, until we get the annexation done, they aren't spending the money on the design for me to show you.
But it looks like it does adjoin here in the corner at the very least, if I'm looking at this plat right. Yeah, 'cause it shows City of Shepherdsville right here, and then here's the corner.
Oh, you mean where does it already
Well,
contiguous to the city?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what,
Yes.
yes, that's what it looks like it is on this plat.
It is contiguous, that the properties do match, yes, indeed.
Is that through Mallard? Is that how it's?
It's the, Nancy Drive, the old Lundy property. Just beside Mallard.
It's gotta
right
go,
there.
yeah,
It's down,
I thought that
gotta go through.
I thought we already gave approval for a guy that was down here.
yes, so it's on the outside Nancy Drive, Pep Circle. It would be an extension of the
I don't
Pep
know.
Circle.
Okay.
But I
Does that
think
cup
originally
circle?
they were talking
Yeah.
about an exit out
I
on
forgot about
Woodland
the cup
here.
circle part of it.
And there, I
Okay.
thought,
Okay, any other questions?
he shut that down, maybe that's what I was working on.
I'm fine with it, as long as it's not corridor information.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's not corridor.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
I would just like to make a comment when he said, the designing engineers are Mendel Scott. I used to work for them, and they are very thorough. I mean, they go over it, Dave and Steve goes over it before it goes to anybody. So they are a good, reputable engineer firm.
Thank you for that confidence. Okay, call for a vote.
Make a
All-
motion? Motion.
Okay, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
second. I'll make a motion.
So Lisa Carter made the motion.
And Deb made
Deb-
second it?
Okay, Deb, second. Okay, all in favor, signal by hand raise. We're over here. Okay. All right, thank you.
all so much, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks for
Thank you,
coming
council.
back to explain.
All right, department reports, let's see, Lisa, you wanna go first?
Oh, me? Yes, I appreciate the, persons that got up and spoke about the beautification committee. When we reformed that, we took some time not to just jump into it so quickly. We wanted to think about the things that we were gonna do. But after coming in on the 11th and finding out that the money had been spent, and then after going through the financial reports that go up to almost April, there's money in line items in Public Works that I think those funds should have been taken from. So I would like to make a motion this evening, and I don't know the dollar amount as of today, because it could have changed. But there are some line items. And I believe the baskets, the planters, the trash cans, I think those would be considered under capital expenses for the city. So, with that being said, I would like to make a motion to move some monies from line item 7,400 in Public Works and put the $16,000 back into the beautification line item so that we can go ahead and purchase the items that we were wanting to purchase for our city, because we haven't spent those monies in 3 years. And at the time that we got to spend these, someone else decided to take from those funds. So I would like to make a motion to our council, since everyone was in favor of the beautification committee, to move $16,000 back into the beautification line item. So if someone would like to give me a second, that would be wonderful, to move those funds. But I think it's only fair. We talk about trying to beautify our town, and we have these monies. You know, we want to raise the occupational tax, but yet we have monies in the budget year after year. And when certain people ask for those monies to be spent, it never happens. So I, as a taxpaying citizen and a council member, would like for somebody on this council to make a second, because everyone was in favor of the beautification committee being reformed.
Mayor, I have a question about that. And I guess my question is, so
Before
are
we
you
get
saying
to
the funds?
discussion, though, we need a second.
Okay,
vote on the
I'm sorry.
motion.
I'll second.
Sorry, Tom.
So are we saying the funds weren't spent on beautification? I'm not sure what I'm understanding here.
Well, I'm not real for sure. They were spent on landscaping, and landscaping to me is considered a capital expense as well. I'm not for sure why it didn't come out of that particular line item.
Would landscaping not be beautification?
But it's
City
capital,
Park
it
and
is capital expenditures too.
the farmer's market?
Not that written up in your, all your scriptures. What is the title of that line item?
Capital expenditure, 7,400 for park items.
No, I mean, on the beautification, what's
Oh.
that line item?
just says beautification.
Because it sounded like we've just frivolously spent money on something, and that wasn't the case at all. Specifically spent on landscaping for the park as well as the farmer's market area. So I just wanna make sure that's clear, and there's not some misunderstanding here that I'm not understanding.
All right, thank you, Tom. Okay,
I would agree if we're talking about landscaping, if you want a legal answer, I would, that would fall
it's
under
beautification,
I mean,
yes.
There's probably several different line items, maybe it could fall under, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
that's-
It might fit under other,
I don't think it's like anybody did anything wrong.
I don't have a line item anymore for those things because the council chose to create a beautification line item.
Right.
So I don't have that line item to do those things. What I do have is a line item for repairs to facilities, the park, things of that nature. I don't have that line item, so I'm not sure the line item you're referring to.
7,400 capital expenses for the park items. It's just a total that had 160,000 budgeted, and as of February, only 29,000 had been spent out of the 160.
That's part of that project we've been working on for the, we're trying to get that all-inclusive handicap play set and so forth. My understanding, a capital purchase is an asset,
Yeah.
and a piece of equipment like that is an asset.
Absolutely.
okay, well,
And there are a couple other line items, you know, I'm looking at departmental projects. There was 100,000 budgeted, and it looks like there's 99,000 as of February still left in that.
Yeah, if you look now, that's not there. Yeah, those departmental projects, some of that was used on Forest Hill, which by the way was just blacktop. We had to do
Thank
those
you.
projects over there to make that available for us to be able to blacktop, which we worked jointly with the county on, by the way, and was a fantastic project.
So was there any money spent so far on the community center to do any rehab over there?
There has not.
So there's money in that particular line item of 34,800 is what I'm showing. I just don't understand.
I'm not denying that. What I wanna make sure of, it doesn't look like I have frivolously spent money.
No, and I'm
that
not saying,
wasn't
and
for
I'm
a
not saying that
particular
you
thing.
have,
Oh,
but,
okay.
but I just feel like personally that everyone knew that we were working on the beautification to work on Buckman Street, because that's all we hear is about how horrible Buckman Street looks. So as we've worked on it, and we come in on the 11th to get a purchase order for these items, and on the 5th, the mayor had signed a purchase order and the money was gone. So I just don't understand why it sat for 3 years with nothing being done, and then all of a sudden, we have meeting after meeting, and then, boom, there's no money.
So Tom, your capital expenditure line that has $139,000, capital expenditure would include the benches, the parks, and everything else that this beautification committee has spent countless hours meeting. You could purchase those assets in that line, am I correct?
I can purchase benches and.
Benches,
Yes.
shrub buckets, and everything that this committee's worked towards. Could those assets be purchased from that line if this council so?
I'm not the person to ask that.
But
I
is
don't
that
know
an
that
asset?
answer.
Is that an asset?
I would
Tammy?
think so, yes.
Okay.
And again,
So,
sorry, my mic wasn't on, I'm sorry about that, you all. And so, I'm sure there's maybe multiple line items where some of that stuff could have fallen, and I don't know if the confusion is that the line item says beautification, not beautification committee. I don't know, I would think those items do fall under beautification, but
Yeah, and another thing, I mean.
I really don't know much other than what has been said
If-
tonight about
if
any of this, so I don't know.
spent money out of the community center for landscaping for the park, you guys are the ones that said we had to have a line item budget. I
Well, we've
can't
amended
do
the
that.
budget mostly several
So
times
how can
throughout the
I-
year, so what would be
That
another
be
time?
frivolously spending money out of a line item where I shouldn't. And
Well,
correct me if I'm wrong, please. 'Cause
here's what I want to do. I want to take this knowledge to the next budget hearing and see what we can do with it from there. So we'll just do that, because I'm not gonna call for a vote, so we'll just do it on next budget hearing. We'll pass it around and see, what we wanna do with it. And
When
I'll
is
have-
the next
I'll-
budget hearing, Mayor? The budget meeting?
Thursday.
Thursday,
This Thursday?
6:30, so,
I'll be-
Thursday, 6:30 is the budget hearing meeting. Yeah.
Could I have clarification on your budget meetings? If, for example, I was there at the last one and they weren't sure if, the public can speak or not, because you weren't there, you had, other obligations.
I don't usually come to the budget meetings just
Oh,
because there's
okay.
not always, because they have to pay me to do all that.
Oh,
So if they don't
okay.
think they need me, then I don't come. I'm coming to this next one.
But
But
can the public speak?
That's up
to
to
your
the chair,
chair.
it's up to the mayor,
Okay.
it's the chair.
legally, there's no requirement that the public speak at these regular meetings. Now, I think we'd have a coup on our hands if the public wasn't
Yeah,
allowed to
that's
speak.
why you let them
But
speak, but it's up to the
yeah.
chair. The chair sets the agenda, moves the agenda.
Okay,
Yeah.
but if, and I think I said this at the budget meetings, if there's questions we have on certain topics, why can't we ask at that time? And I think for that meeting, you all said if you have any questions to email you.
Yeah,
But,
that'd be good.
I mean, I think it would be, I mean, you're spending our money.
Right.
So I think we should be able to ask questions about certain things that you're doing in the budget.
That's just like this one here, yeah, we try to let everybody have their input, as long as it stays civil.
But Mayor, at the same time, it's a workshop. So
Yeah.
It's not a regular council meeting.
Exactly, so it's, one of the ideas behind it is to give the council time to be able to sit down, and it has to be a public meeting, so it is, and to kind of
But it's
bounce the
an
ideas
open
among each other.
public
Yeah,
meeting.
well, it has to be, absolutely, it has to be.
So why would anybody come if you can't ask questions about the budget?
It does seem like you're kicking the can down the road a little bit. We're here now,
Right.
and we're in a position where most everybody's free to speak their minds, and we do appreciate that. But if we just kick the can down to Thursday, then everybody's gotta drag back up here Thursday, and we all already put in 10 hours today. Can we not just shake it loose and get her done tonight?
Get what done?
No.
What are you talking about?
We're, for one, we're not prepared and brought all our stuff.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Because I don't have, I have a beautification committee that's not here.
Well, what,
And I have the two people that run that, I need to talk to them.
And we don't have our,
Yeah, we don't have our beautification people. There's 4 on the beautification committee.
it was a euphemism that I've sometimes heard on
Yeah.
television, get her done, but
Right.
specifically, I think what I was referring to was the things that we might just discuss on Thursday. Is there no opportunity to just go ahead and get some of that out in the open tonight?
No, we don't have enough information for that. Thank you for thank you. All right, we're moving on. No more topic about that. No. No, you can't. We're done. No, we're done with that. We're done. Lisa, you got anything else?
I'm just gonna say, I'm not bringing my motion off the table. I had a first and a second.
Okay.
And, I'm not bringing my motion off the table. I just want that for the record tonight,
Okay.
so.
Anything else? Kenny, you got anything? No. Deb, you got anything?
CSX.
Still haven't,
Brenda, you work that magic?
can you get it done and fix the road?
That will take an act of God.
Well, I'll tell you, the one on 44 is starting to get a little bit rough too now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So they're both gonna be pretty
When
rough.
you're eastbound, it's really bad, 44.
Yes.
Okay. All right,
That's all.
Stacy?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Mike, you got anything?
I think a lot of the people were commenting, and I can agree with Tom to the point that the beautification money was not in his budget. Is that correct? However, I think most of the people are seeing that the money that this beautification was spent on is in the park, where everyone has the assumption, I believe, that that's pretty much in your domain as far as what goes, how you take care of the park. Things are done in the park with the fencing and the playground equipment and everything else. And with the large amounts of money that are in line items, and I do believe in every department, except sewer, which we cannot use, that there are funds sitting idle that we did not have to diminish, or we did not have to use the small amount of beautification money that existed. and possibly even within the admin budget where beautification was. The people want some progress, and we can't be playing politics or anything else to go ahead and say, well, let's just do this, and then we take this money away from here, and then we can't do anything more because we don't have any money. We don't have 20,000 sitting here when we maybe have in the whole department 200,000 that has been appropriated, but is not going to be used by the end of this budget. And that's just having money sit idle and not be used for a beneficial purpose. And I think that's what we are trying, I know I am, trying to accomplish. Let's use the funds we have available, and if they're sitting idle someplace that they're not going to be used, or only half of it's been used, then let's see how we can best use what's left. That's my opinion.
Well said, thank you. Ms. Bonnie, you got anything?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Is there any executive session?
No, I don't have anything for executive.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Kenny?
Second.
That was Mike.
You wasn't
Stacy
fast
second.
enough. You wasn't fast
Kenny
enough,
first, Stacy
sorry.
second. Absolutely.
I'll let you have that, how's that?
Okay. All in favor? Okay, 6-0. Okay,
I should
thank you.
vote no.
What
on
time
that.
is the budget? 6:30?
Hey,
You can do
6:30
it.
Thursday budget hearing meeting.
I will be here.
You coming?
I will be here for this one.
The only reason I asked if we had a question is because when you all were talking about the super, and, what's your, engineer, Arthur, I was on a super committee when Sherman was in there, and for some reason, grandson now was supposed to come back and clean out.